Hey everyone, welcome back. We have another episode here of Conspiracy Hunters. So today we're going to tackle two, maybe three again. The first one I think is a bit of a shorter one here, but it kind of ties into what we had done yesterday, and that is the Berenstain Bears versus Berenstein Bears. Now, you'll probably all remember reading these books growing up. I know I do, and my kids read these too. And I actually had to go and double check on this one myself to see what my kids' books say, and they actually do say Berenstain Bears. And then I went and I'm like, well, I remember it being Berenstein. So I went and I double checked even on eBay, and all those books, actually even from the 80s, still say Berenstain Bears. So it seems really weird that I would be remembering it as Berenstein. So there, some people say maybe it was being misspelled or whatever, but no, apparently not. The theory is that something in time shifted and the name of the bears changed. Scary. So let's look into this a little bit more. So I'll go back to the top here of my article here. You can see. So it's convinced people on the internet that there are parallel universes. So, all the animals from your favorite childhood movies are dead, chasing adrenaline and childhood memories at Six Flags Magic Mountain, revisiting the Russian cartoons of my childhood. This is another article similar to this. So, figured I'd read that just because it's kind of hokey, kind of like what a lot of conspiracies are there, just something fun. And so, let's read into this. So these fuzzy creatures are hands down some of the most beloved children's literature characters of modern age. Whom among us has learned the valuable, if not a little heavy-handed, lesson from Brother and Sister Bear? The bears taught us varied lessons, as you should stop being greedy and share. And if you bite your nails, you are gross, disgusting person who deserves a pariah to be a pariah among your family. The treehouse, living bears love us so much that they're still teaching us, technically grown-ups, important lessons today, and they have one final major lesson in store for us. We all live in an alternate reality and nothing we know is real. You could say that they are our Ursidae Neo. The bears are communicating these newfound realities to us through their name. Take a cold hard look at the wording above. Does something look wrong to you? Do you remember it being Berenstein with an E and not Berenstain with an A? If you do, you're not alone. There are many who remember it this way. In fact, there are so many Berenstein believers that people in the know will cite that as proof this is a glitch in the matrix. I've dubbed these individuals as Berensteinites. I talked to quite a few people I know, and most of them remember the bear's surname being spelled with an E, which, of course, in my own opinion, that could just be your brain putting in what you think it should be instead of what it actually is. Happens all the time when you're reading and things are jumbled up. Well, your brain will automatically put in the right word. There's lots of studies that back up that. You can look them up on Google there. So I only realized that reading to my kid about 8 months ago, one of my friends said that was a disturbing bedtime. To be completely honest, I'm one of the believers of the E. I personally remember vividly the Berenstain Bears spelled with an E and calling it that for years. Even during the writing of this piece, the misspelled name is right there on the tip of my tongue. I constantly need to go back and change all of the Berensteins to Berenstains because my mind is so set in this way. Learning that I have been wrong all these years has caused what can only be described as a personal crisis of sorts. And there's a quote in here from August 5th, 2015 by Mac Lamoureux. I always figured something would eventually break me mentally and emotionally. I never thought it would be the Berenstein Bears. And then he puts in brackets a little A there. The Berenstain bear theory has been around for a few years, but it exploded last week when the Run the Jewels rapper / music producer and possibly Berensteinite went on, I assume, of course, a weed-powered tweeting spree about it. Unlike many other conspiracy theories, the doctrine of the Berensteins seems to be gaining traction due to the fact that readers can take a side. There's Team Steen and Team Stain. and some of the people are misremembering the fact. Whatever they think the fact is, see the misremembrance as proof of a different and possibly darker timeline. Several theorists in particular think the Berenstain bear conspiracy is proof of the Mandela effect, which we discussed yesterday. So here we'll just recap what that means. The Mandela effect is the brainchild of Fiona Broome, and it pulls its name from a large group of people when a large group of people all had vivid memories of Nelson Mandela dying in prison. A thing that in this timeline, as they say, never happened. The theory reasons that if there is a large population of people who all share similar false memories, then the phenomenon is related to alternate history and parallel realities. The whole thing makes total sense, right? Like all complex, important issues, you must first understand the history if you want to understand the theory. What a long and enchanted history the Berensteinites have. The first time someone noticed the bears' attempt to warn us was back in 2009 on a dreadlock dedicated forum. A user by the name of Burke posted in Dreadlock Truth asking why the pronunciation of his favorite childhood books had changed. In these days, no one grasped the issue at hand and the severity of the bear's true message. Other users just offered solutions that the Berenstein name sounds Jewish, and the change could have been a result of neo-Nazi aggression. The theory remained dormant for a number of years before it popped up on the humorist website, the Communist Dance Party, in a lengthy 2011 post. Although the words were written in jest, the writer, the false prophet, blows the whole Berenstein theory open and relates it to the butterfly effect. At some point between the years 1986 and 2011, someone traveled back in time and inadvertently altered the timeline of human history so that the Berenstein bears somehow became the Berenstain bears, he wrote. This is why everyone remembers the name incorrectly. It was Berenstein when we were kids, but at some point when we weren't paying attention, someone back in time and rippled our life experience ever so slightly. Little did he know how important that notion would come to be in the movement. The next appearance of the theory came in the form of a 2012 post on the blog The Wood Between Worlds by a user named Reese called the Berenstain Bears. We are living in our own parallel universe. These 1,600 words would prove to be the main literature of this modern movement. It is simply the Berensteinites' New Testament, their Vedas. In it, the blog author makes a modest proposal, one that implies that all of us are living in our own parallel universe. He propagates that there are at least two universes, the Stein universe and the Stain universe. The author attempts to prove the theory as true and breaks down the mathematical and scientific terms. Here's a tidbit. I propose that the universe is a four-dimensional complex manifold. If you don't see habla math jargon, that means I propose the three space dimensions and one time dimension are actually in themselves complex, meaning that they take values in the form of a plus ib, part real and part imaginary. From there, the theory gestated until it started appearing last year on a subreddit with the apt name Glitch in the Matrix. This is when the gospel began to spread. The subreddit is dedicated to those things that we usually tell ourselves to forget because they're just too out of step with what experiences tell us reality should be like. The Berensteinites' first major Reddit appearance occurred when they took over a post asking if someone had ever seen a picture of Henry VIII eating a turkey leg. They claimed, they have called this corner of the internet home ever since. The Mandela effect became such a popular subject that a subreddit dedicated solely to the idea was started in 2013. It exists as a place where people can see If misremembering, the release date of the Boom Boom Pow is proof of parallel universes. It's pretty flimsy. It is a bastion of intellectual thought. A recent post on the subreddit by dedicated Berenstein Roxorus, I am not sure how to pronounce that, laid out the plans for our 20-year experiment on his or her 2-year-old to see if the theory is valid. I'm going to do my best to forget this debate ever even exists, not bias her, and make sure she has Berenstain bear books until she turns 10. At that point, I'll take them away when she turns 25, and I'll ask her what they were called, and I have her write down the answer. To try and get a handle on what may be the most important scientific theory to arise in the 21st century, I thought I would go to an expert. Dr. Henry L. Roediger is one of the foremost experts on false memories in North America, so I wrote him about the Berensteinites to get his thoughts. His response made it clear he believes what's happening is more Occam razors than X-Files. I'm not sure that misremembering one letter in a long name is a major league false memory, he wrote Vice in an email. Vice is the one doing this article. My guess is that in this case, that Stein is remembered because it is commonly ending. It is a common ending of many names: Einstein, Frankenstein, Goldstein, etc. That's what I was saying. Your brain will automatically put in what it wants to put in. He's obviously a shill in the Great Berenstain conspiracy. I knew I couldn't believe this sole expert's account in regards to this notion, as Reddit is never wrong. So I wrote Random House, the publisher of the book since 1962, in an attempt to confirm this theory. An email asked if they had always spelled the name with an A, and if they were certain there were no titles printed under the Berenstain name. Almost immediately after I sent the email, I received a reply from the publishing house. It was supernaturally fast, almost like they knew it was coming. Thank you for contacting Random House Children's Books Publicity Department, they wrote. Please note that due to volume of emails we receive daily, it may take us some time to respond to your request. A likely story. They know the Berensteinites are onto them. So that was just kind of a fun one there. That one definitely very logical, that your brain just automatically puts in the letters that it's wanting. Quite common. So what's the next one we look at? This one here. A lot of people actually do believe this one, and there is some stuff behind it that could potentially be true. But I never believe any of these conspiracies unless I actually see some real cold, hard proof. And that is what they are lacking, is the cold, hard proof. So this one is: a UFO expert's mysterious death earlier this year was planned by the government. Of course, this was, a few years back. British ufologist Max Speirs was closing in on details about UFOs earlier this year when he was suddenly found dead on a couch in Poland. Doctors said he died of natural causes, but his mom worries that someone wanted him gone because he sent her a text a week before that said, "If anything happens to me, investigate." So a lot of people really seem to believe this, and it is a fairly recent one here. It's February 10th, 2020, that someone did some updates on this. Your boy's in trouble. If anything happens to me, investigate. Max Speirs sent this text to his mother days before his death, which does substantiate a little bit more to it, but still, there's no real cold, hard proof of conspiracy. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but I like the cold, hard facts. I like some truth and some proof. Max Speirs, a British ufologist and conspiracy theorist, 39, from Canterbury, was found dead in Warsaw, allegedly after vomiting black fluid July. And black fluid can indicate poison. That is a symptom. Again, not 100% on that, though there could be other explanations from it. Max was in Warsaw to give a talk on alien conspiracies, and he felt he was onto something big, and that shadowy powers were closing in on him. The death of Max Speirs left many questions behind him. Did he Did he knew too much? Did he know too much? And was he going to expose others? Max Speirs' body was found on a sofa with dark liquid coming from his mouth, as told by his reporter, or by his partner, who was the only one present at the scene. Max's relationship with his partner, Monica Duval, was friendly, unlike many naming the pair couples. Many naming the pair couples. That seems oddly worded. Monica Duval said in an investigation that Max fell asleep on the sofa after taking Xanax. She also noticed several hours later that he stopped breathing and found him dead with black liquid all over the place. If he overdosed on Xanax, that could lead to a poisoning. So how many did he take? That would be my question at this point. And no, I have not read this whole article. Monica called the medical emergency help. And by the time the doctor got there, Max was already dead. According to Max's mother, Monica would not let the doctor leave. She kept insisting that the doctor had to bring Max back to life. The doctor called the police and left after the police arrived. Similarly, police left the apartment a few hours later. Max's body stayed in the apartment until the next morning till 11 a.m. That seems really weird that they wouldn't have got a coroner in there right away. The body of Max Speirs was handed over to British authorities before the Polish police could acquire the body for autopsy. Medics, however, ruled he died from natural causes despite no post-mortem, and Max's mother was denied any official documents about this, as she does not have his dead son's written permission. Yes, you read that right. But she does not have his dead son's permission. Huh. Weird. Max Speirs' mother, Vanessa Bates, said, "All I have is a death certificate from the Polish authorities that it was from natural causes, but no post-mortem was done, so how can they tell that? They are also refusing to release any paperwork about it to me. Absurdly, I don't have his written permission." Yeah, see, they should have, as she did not have his permission or her dead son's permission. It should be one or the other. Monica said in a statement that Max also complained that satanic groups were after him in the lead up to his death. They are misspelling words like crazy in here. Max's mother got a one-page note with all the basic stuff written, and the reason for death was termed as natural death. A friend of Max's claims that Max didn't die of natural causes in Poland. Rather, he was terminated by sophisticated elements who then brought him back, having reprogrammed him. Miles Johnson, a UFO investigator, said that Max knew he was going to die because he had exposed enemies within other realities. Okay, they had some more validity if they just said it was like government conspiracy stuff, because there's a lot of shadow government stuff that goes on that people don't know about and frankly don't want to know about. But when they start bringing other realities into it, it kind of decredits them a lot. So theories Max Speirs believed or talked about. Max believed that his mind was altered as a child and he was among the super soldiers, and said there's a lot more going on than we can actually see. Max also believed in extra dimension wars and entities. One of Max's theories was that Nazis and Zionists were not working in alignment after the war, stretching back 50,000 years. Yeah, I think he was a little nuts, so it doesn't really give him much credibility there either. Max believed that he was part of a Project Mannequin, and that's where he gets his super soldier title. As he said, he was genetically selected and created and trained from a very young age to be some type of super soldier. Project Mannequin in the UK is an extension of the Nazi Superman projects to create a warrior and a breeder. Max said that he has memories even from before this life, spanning all the way back to the Atlantean period. He believed that he was part of trying to protect Atlantis before the fall. One of the things is what it should say. Another misspelled. Guys, editing. Seriously, copy editors. That was hard to believe that one of the things that was hard to believe that Max believed was that he jumped to Mars from a facility from California at the 999 Sepulveda Boulevard. But when asked about his journey to Mars, he said he don't remember much. He doesn't remember much, just certain pieces. Some of the other topics Max Speirs covered included MK Ultra and occult practice within the elite and symbolism. Circle of Black Magicians. Max Speirs' fiance. Why did they suddenly decide to use this here, which is supposed to be there, when they didn't use it back there? Sorry, the writer in me is coming out. Max Speirs' fiance, Sarah Adams, 31, has revealed that he was researching a circle of black magicians before his death. Death threats and more threats like that were common from other people, but his fiance told that this time threat seemed real. That this time the threat seemed real. He was going to expose black magic, which involved political leaders and celebrities. He planned on coming back here, seeing his family, and I was going to have his child. He had messaged me hours before. It definitely couldn't have been anything like suicide or something like that. Sarah Adams. Vanessa Bates, Max's mother, claims that she was on the phone to one of them, with them being somewhat involved with what is being called a group or cult. One interesting thing she mentions, that I could hear in the background, there were strange suggestions of things that should be done, things like put milk by his side and get the garlic and put flowers and put vinegar. She also mentioned that these people appeared to be involved in some very dark and dangerous area of the world. I was afraid that as he was gaining popularity and fame, that perhaps someone would want him out of the way. I believe somebody's killed him. Max Speirs' last interview. The last interview of Max Speirs was weird in many ways. First, the video was not recorded, it's just audio. However, the interviewer said that they did not find a good place to record. The interview was released after Max's death. As the interview goes on, Max slept twice, and then the interviewer sends him to jump on the trampoline so that he can freshen up. There's also a video for the moment where Max was jumping on the trampoline. The interview was weird in many ways, as the people in the room while the interview was going on were reminding him to breathe, and the interview was suspended twice. Max's believed structure was that he believed he was being psychologically attacked by someone. The guy interviewing mentions a lot of times that is something going on with you. Are you okay? Seems like you might be attacked again. Somehow, or however, there are some theories that he was slowly poisoned and that would explain his reaction during the interview. The theory further suggests that someone that would want to harm him and that he thought was a friend of his and was someone who was close to him. But it seemed like Max was really drunk and was about to pass out, but was forced to do the interview. Maybe he scheduled it, or he did not want to go to sleep. Either Max was really drunk or he was high. Death of Max Speirs. Max Speirs died after taking a combination of prescription drugs which caused aspiration and of gastric contents while suffering from pneumonia. Days prior to his death, Max Speirs asked Monica to buy the entire stock, about 8 to 10 boxes of the drug, Turkish Xanax. Max took 10 tablets of the Turkish Xanax and explained himself to Monica by saying that it's a Turkish equivalent, has a different dosage. A British toxicologist told that Max had a level of Xanax in his system at twice the therapeutic dose. Levels of oxycodone were also found in his body, which generally considered fatal in an inexperienced user. The black liquid that came out of Max Speirs could have been an indicator that there was blood somehow getting into his stomach. Some people note that the black liquid could even look like coffee grounds if the blood has been in your stomach for a good amount of time. That's the only thing we can find the reason why black liquid comes out. On August 30th, 2016, an investigation was launched into the circumstances surrounding Speirs' death. The investigation by Polish authorities is looking into the involuntary manslaughter of Speirs. In December 2016, the British authorities announced that they would launch an inquest into his death, which is distinct from an investigation with an aim to convict. Conviction is undertaken by the Polish prosecutor's office, who may choose whether to accept the inquest's findings. A coroner told the inquest he was waiting to receive a report from Polish authorities. As a result, the proceedings were adjourned until February 2017. On January 7, 2019, the cause of Speirs' death was released as drugs and pneumonia. That was kind of what I'd been talking about before, about the overdoses of drugs. There's lots of different explanations for it. There are definitely some suspicious circumstances to the whole thing, but need a little bit more hardcore evidence and some proof to actually back up all these claims. Again, not out of the realm of possibility, but could definitely do with some more proof. So that's all we're going to cover for this video. Next time you can tune in for we'll talk about how Paul McCartney actually died in 1966 and how a lookalike stands in his place. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember to hit that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get video notifications every time I put a video out. And if you want to support my work, since I do not have a team or anybody to do all this work for me, and it takes a lot to put out these videos, a lot of research, you can feel free to donate if you feel led to do so to my PayPal, which the details will be in the description of the video.